Hey, this is Zach with Meza and 3DP Agency. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to take you through a little bit of a day in the life of how I use AI in my business and in my personal life. I'm going to show you little short clips of things that I come across on a daily basis. I'm not going to necessarily script these out. They're just going to be things that come up so you can kind of take a look into how I'm interacting with it every day. And hopefully that helps you out. So if you're interested in this, definitely subscribe. I have some really exciting things coming on the AI training front. But for now, let's get into this video. All right, so for this first example, I want to show you something that I did with a local record store owner. Local record stores or independent stores get access to an event called Record Store Day. It happens a couple times a year where bands and labels will release special edition records just to independent stores. It's just to promote their stores and to get more people in, and it's a really cool event. So this year's event, or this event in April, has 388 different records that people can choose from as part of this event. And so what happens is this record store owner in particular, he wanted to put out a survey to see what people were interested in, what records they'd be wanting, so that then he could kind of base his order off of that, so that the records would be available when people come to make the purchase. So he put out a survey of the 388 records. So far, there's about 47 people that have responded. So you can imagine the data set there is fairly big. And so what happens is that data would come in through the form on the website. It came in a format that was really hard to work with. So I had to write some scripts and do some different things to clean it up. But one of the views we have is a good example here of how I would use ChatGPT in this situation. So it posted everything, but it did it out of order. So the ID, this would be like the user ID or the submission ID, so we can tie it back to that individual. There's the name that they gave and the records that they said they wanted out of that list. So you see it's all over the place. It kind of moves to the side. The formatting's a little off, but we can fix that, whatever, no big deal. Anyways, what I want though is I want these columns to be in order so that as more people come in, we can put them at the end of this list and keep it really clean. So what happens then is if you try and move these around, what are you going to do, right? You're going to go over and grab number 2 and pull it over to this, and you could spend a long time doing this. There's definitely a risk that things will break and get disconnected. So instead, what we can do is I'm going to go into ChatGPT. And I'm going to say, I have a Google Sheet that needs sorting, okay? The tab is called, what did I call it on here? List by name. So I'm not necessarily going to teach you how to do this, the actual function I'm doing, because it's unique to me, but I just want to show you the capabilities of what's possible and kind of how to start thinking about prompting. So I'm going to go list by name. Row 1 contains user IDs. Row 2 contains those user IDs names. Rows 3 and below contain vinyl record titles that they want to purchase. Okay. So I'm just explaining it in whatever terms come to my head. I'm not really overthinking this at all. But here's where I'm going to get into the instructions. Currently, they're out of numerical order by user ID. I want to sort them into numerical order with as little manual updates as possible. Okay, so how do I do this? How do I do this in Google Sheets? Okay, so I'm just going to ask it, and what it's going to do, it immediately starts giving you an answer, which is absolutely, it blows my mind every time. I use this thousands of times, but here's the information. So it's going to give us some instructions here, and it's going to say transpose the data temporarily, sort the transposed data. Okay, I don't want to do any of that stuff, right? So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to give it a minute here, and I'm going to see what it gives us as options. Transpose the data back C. So you can see even right here, there's 4 steps that take a lot of work, saying back up the data, all this, right? Well, I want a shorter way. So write a script that does this for me. Okay. So now it's going to give us a script, and it's going to write the entire script for us, which is just absolutely amazing to me. So here we go. And what you're going to see is in a couple seconds here, it's going to give us the complete script. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to copy the code. I'm going to go over here. This is what's cool too, is at first I wasn't that familiar with writing scripts in here. So I told it to explain it to me like I've never done it before. And it gave me a complete baseline, a super simple way to understand it. And now we're here. So I'm going to go app script, and I'm going to create a new script. Give it permissions if you need to, and save it. So, okay, so before we click this run, I want you to look at the numbers now. So we go 1, 8, 35, 23. It's all over the place. But now we're going to go ahead and run this script, and it should say started, and we're hoping it says completed, and it did. That fast, it did it. So now we're going to test it. So we're going to go back here, and when you look at it, we've got the ID in numerical order. We've got the name, and we've got their records right below them. Kind of changed the formatting around a little bit, but that's not a big deal. We can fix that in a couple seconds, and we are good to go. But if you look all the way across, now they are all in order, all the way through 1 through 47, and it kept everything intact. Just absolutely incredible that in a couple seconds I solved a problem that could have potentially taken a long time to fix, and it got us to exactly where we want to be. So just right there, you can see the benefit of using this tool and what it's capable of. That's just one of many, many things that I want to show you guys. There's going to be a lot more coming. So again, follow along, and I look forward to sharing more of this with you. Thanks for coming along.